Jake paced the creaky wooden floors of his son's empty bedroom, the soft glow from the street lamp outside casting long shadows that danced across the walls. He glanced at his phone again, rereading the message from his wife, "Mia, don't wait up for me." She was at her friend's baby shower, enveloped in laughter and joyous memories, oblivious to the storm brewing in their own home. As he turned to the small desk nestled in the corner, Jake's eyes fell upon a loose floorboard. It was barely noticeable, but tonight, under the dim light, it seemed to call out to him. With a mix of curiosity and unease, he pried it open, revealing a hidden compartment. Inside, he found a dusty old journal and a worn-out teddy bear, the same one their son, Max, had clutched every night before he vanished a year ago. Jake's hands trembled as he opened the journal, the pages filled with Max's childish scrawls and sketches. But as he flipped through, the entries grew darker, the drawings more disturbing. One entry caught his eye: "Mom and Dad are hiding something. I saw them talking in the basement. They looked scared." Jake's heart raced. What could Max have seen? Why had they never talked about it? He had to find out. Driven by a newfound determination, he headed to the basement, the journal clutched tightly in his hand. As he descended the stairs, the air grew colder. He flicked on the light, revealing the dimly lit room filled with old boxes and forgotten memories. He approached the far wall, where a faint outline of a door was barely visible behind some crates. Taking a deep breath, he moved the crates aside and pushed the door open. The sight before him made his blood run cold. It was a hidden room, filled with old photographs, documents, and a large, ominous-looking chest. Trembling, he opened the chest and found it filled with papers detailing experiments and a name that sent chills down his spine: Maxwell Project. Just then, his phone buzzed. It was Mia. "I'm on my way home. Can't wait to see you." She had no idea what he had just uncovered. Jake stood there, in the dim light of the basement, holding the truth about their son's disappearance in his hands. His world was about to change, and he had to decide how much of it he would let his wife into. Jake's mind was racing as he sifted through the documents in the chest. The Maxwell Project seemed to be some sort of clandestine operation, and his son's name being linked to it sent chills down his spine. He found old photos of children, including Max, in what appeared to be a lab setting, along with notes about genetic testing and psychological experiments. Just then, he heard the front door open and Mia's voice calling out, "Jake, I'm home." He quickly closed the chest and stuffed the documents into his jacket pocket, not wanting to confront her with the truth just yet. "Down here, Mia," he called, his voice steadying. Mia descended the stairs, her face lighting up when she saw him. "I missed you," she said, wrapping her arms around him. "I missed you too," Jake replied, his mind still reeling from what he'd discovered. "How was the baby shower?" "It was wonderful," Mia said, her eyes sparkling. "But I'm glad to be back." "What were you doing down here?" Jake hesitated, then decided to deflect. "Just going through some old things. You know, reminiscing." Mia nodded, unaware of the storm brewing in Jake's mind. They made their way back upstairs, but Jake couldn't shake the feeling that he needed to uncover more before confronting Mia. Over the next few days, Jake delved deeper into the documents, carefully piecing together the truth about the Maxwell Project. He discovered that it was a secret government initiative aimed at creating enhanced humans through genetic manipulation. Max had been one of the subjects, but something had gone wrong, leading to his disappearance. One night, unable to contain the secret any longer, Jake decided to confront Mia. "Mia, we need to talk," he said, his voice heavy with the weight of his discoveries. Mia looked at him, concern etched on her face. "What is it, Jake?" Jake took a deep breath and handed her the journal and documents. "It's about Max. I found these in his room." Mia's face paled as she flipped through the pages, her eyes widening with shock. "Jake, where did you find this?" "In the hidden compartment under the floorboards." "Mia, what is the Maxwell Project?" Jake asked, his voice trembling with emotion. Mia took a shaky breath, tears welling up in her eyes. "I never wanted you to know, Jake. The Maxwell Project was something I was involved in before we met. When I found out they were using children, I tried to get Max out of it, but I never thought they'd come after him." Jake's heart ached as he wrapped his arms around Mia. "We'll find him, Mia. Whatever it takes, we'll find our son." Would you like to continue, or explore another angle in the story? I'm here to help you develop it further. In the days that followed, Jake and Mia became a determined team, bound by their love for Max and their quest to uncover the truth. They delved deeper into the Maxwell Project, contacting former colleagues of Mia and researching any leads they could find. The more they uncovered, the clearer it became that their son was part of something much larger and more dangerous than they had imagined. One evening, as they were poring over the documents, Mia received a mysterious phone call. "It's from an unknown number," she said, her voice trembling as she answered. "Mia, is that you?" a hushed voice asked. "Yes, who is this?" she replied, her heart pounding. "It's Dr. Collins. I worked on the Maxwell Project with you. We need to meet. It's about Max." Mia's eyes widened, and she quickly jotted down the meeting details. "We'll be there," she said before hanging up. The next day, Jake and Mia drove to a secluded park, where they met Dr. Collins, a frail man with a haunted look in his eyes. "I couldn't stay silent any longer," he said, glancing around nervously. The Maxwell Project was more than just experiments. They were creating children with enhanced abilities, but they lost control. Some of the children, including Max, were taken by a rogue faction within the project. Jake clenched his fists, his anger barely contained. "Where is he now?" Dr. Collins shook his head. "I'm not sure, but I have a lead. There's an old facility in the outskirts of the city. It was shut down years ago, but I've heard rumors that it's still being used for secret operations." Determined to find their son, Jake and Mia decided to investigate the facility. Under the cover of darkness, they approached the abandoned building, its crumbling facade hiding the secrets within. Using a combination of old blueprints and their own instincts, they navigated the eerie hallways, the air thick with the scent of decay. In the depths of the facility, they discovered a hidden laboratory, filled with the remnants of experiments and equipment. As they searched the room, Mia found a locked drawer. With trembling hands, she pried it open, revealing a stack of files. Jake flipped through the documents, his heart racing as he found a recent photograph of Max, looking older and more serious than he remembered. "He's alive," Jake whispered, tears streaming down his face. As they continued to search the lab, they heard footsteps approaching. They quickly hid behind a stack of crates, holding their breath as a group of men entered the room. The men discussed their plans to move the children to a new location, mentioning a convoy scheduled for the next day. Once the men left, Jake and Mia knew they had to act fast. They formulated a plan to intercept the convoy and rescue Max. With a mixture of fear and determination, they prepared for the most critical mission of their lives. The next day, they lay in wait near the facility's entrance, their hearts pounding as the convoy approached. As the vehicles slowed to a stop, Jake and Mia sprang into action, using their knowledge of the facility's layout to their advantage. They fought their way through the guards, desperate to reach Max. Finally, they found him, locked in a small cell with other children. "Mom? Dad?" Max's voice was filled with disbelief as he saw them. "Max!" Mia cried, rushing to embrace her son. "We're here to take you home." Jake quickly unlocked the cell, and they helped the other children escape as well. With their family reunited and the children safe, they made their way out of the facility, determined to expose the truth about the Maxwell Project and ensure that no other family would have to endure the pain they had experienced. As they drove away, Max held on to his parents, the weight of the past year slowly lifting from his shoulders. They knew that their journey was far from over, but together, they could face anything that came their way. Would you like to continue the story further, or perhaps develop any specific scenes or characters in more detail? I'm here to help. The convoy was miles behind them now, and as the sun began to rise, casting a warm glow on the horizon, Jake, Mia, and Max felt a sense of hope for the first time in a long while. They drove in silence, each lost in their thoughts, but the bond between them had never been stronger. When they reached the safe house that Dr. Collins had arranged for them, they found it to be a modest but comfortable place tucked away in the countryside. The other rescued children were taken in by a network of trustworthy allies, ensuring they would be safe and cared for. Max was quieter than usual, his eyes reflecting the weight of his experiences. Jake and Mia knew they had to give him time to heal, but they were also determined to help him process everything he had been through. One evening, as they sat together on the porch, Max finally opened up. "Mom, Dad, I was so scared. They did things to us, tried to make us stronger, smarter. But it hurt. And I missed you so much." Mia hugged him tightly, tears streaming down her face. "We're here now, Max. We'll never let anything happen to you again." Jake nodded, his voice choked with emotion. "We'll find a way to make sure those responsible are brought to justice. And we'll do everything we can to help you heal." With Dr. Collins' help, they began to gather evidence and build a case against the rogue faction of the Maxwell Project. They reached out to journalists and activists who could help them expose the truth. The story of the children's abduction and experimentation soon made headlines, and the public outcry forced the government to take action. Investigations were launched, and several high-ranking officials were arrested for their involvement in the project. The facility where the experiments had taken place was shut down, and the surviving children were given the support and care they needed to recover. Max slowly began to reclaim his childhood, with Jake and Mia by his side every step of the way. They enrolled him in therapy and surrounded him with love and understanding. Over time, the nightmares became less frequent, and his laughter began to fill their home once more. One evening, as they sat around the dinner table, Max looked at his parents with a newfound sense of determination. "Mom, Dad, I want to help other kids who went through what I did. I want to make sure no one else has to suffer like that." Jake and Mia exchanged proud smiles, their hearts swelling with love for their brave son. "We'll support you in any way we can, Max," Jake said, reaching across the table to squeeze his son's hand. Mia nodded, her eyes shining with pride. "Together, we can make a difference." Years later, Max became a passionate advocate for children's rights, working tirelessly to ensure that no child would ever be subjected to the horrors he had experienced. Jake and Mia stood by his side, proud of the incredible young man he had become. Their journey had been fraught with pain and heartache, but through their love and resilience, they had found a way to turn their darkest moments into a beacon of hope for others. Would you like to add anything else to the story, or explore any specific scenes or characters further? I'm here to help. The years that followed saw Max grow into a remarkable young man, fueled by his personal experiences and the unwavering support of his parents. He dedicated himself to his studies, immersing himself in subjects related to human rights, psychology, and genetics. He was determined to understand not only what had been done to him, but also how to prevent such atrocities from happening to others. Jake and Mia watched with pride as Max excelled in his academics and eventually attended a prestigious university. His passion for justice and his ability to connect with others made him a natural leader. He founded a non-profit organization, Children's Voices, which provided support and advocacy for children who had been subjected to unethical experiments or abuse. One of the first major victories for Children's Voices was the establishment of a global registry for tracking and supporting children who had been involved in experimental projects. The registry helped reunite families, provide medical and psychological support, and advocate for stronger regulations to protect vulnerable children. Max's work caught the attention of international organizations, and he was invited to speak at conferences and summits around the world. His story and his resilience inspired countless others to join the fight for children's rights. He became a symbol of hope and determination, showing that even in the face of unimaginable challenges, one could rise and make a difference. Back at home, Jake and Mia continued to support Max and the mission of Children's Voices. They became involved in the day-to-day operations of the organization, using their own skills and experiences to help other families. The bond between the three of them grew even stronger as they worked together to create a better world. One day, Max received a call that would change everything. It was from a scientist who had been part of the rogue faction of the Maxwell Project. The scientist, now filled with remorse, provided crucial information about a hidden facility where the remaining children were being held. Max, Jake, and Mia, along with a team of dedicated volunteers, planned a daring rescue mission. They coordinated with local authorities and international organizations to ensure that the operation would be successful and that the children would be safe. The rescue mission was a success. Dozens of children were freed from the facility and given the care and support they needed. The operation made headlines around the world, shining a spotlight on the importance of protecting children's rights and holding those who exploit them accountable. As Max stood in front of a crowd of supporters and journalists, he spoke with a conviction that resonated deeply with everyone present. We have shown that together, we can make a difference. We can protect the innocent and bring justice to those who have been wronged. But our work is far from over. We must continue to fight for a world where every child is safe, loved, and free to reach their full potential. The applause was thunderous, but Max's thoughts were with the children they had rescued and the families they had helped. He knew that the journey was not yet complete, but with his parents by his side and the support of a global community, he was ready to face whatever challenges lay ahead. Jake, Mia, and Max stood together, united by their love and their shared mission. They had turned their darkest moments into a beacon of hope, and their story was far from over. As they looked toward the future, they knew that they had the strength, the courage, and the determination to continue making a difference, one child at a time. Would you like to develop any specific scenes or characters further, or explore a different aspect of the story? I'm here to help. As the sun set on another day of advocacy and healing, Max, Jake, and Mia found themselves reflecting on their incredible journey. They had turned a tragedy into a mission that had touched countless lives, and their bond had only grown stronger through the trials they had faced together. One evening, as they gathered in the living room of their cozy home, Max spoke up, his voice filled with emotion. "Mom, Dad, I couldn't have done any of this without you. Your support, your love, it means everything to me." Jake smiled, his eyes glistening with pride. "We're so proud of you, Max. You've turned our darkest moments into a beacon of hope for so many. We couldn't have asked for a better son." Mia hugged Max tightly, her heart swelling with love. "You've shown us what it means to be resilient and brave. We're honored to stand by your side, now and always." As the years went by, children's voices continued to grow, becoming a global force for change. Max's tireless dedication and passionate advocacy led to new laws and regulations that protected children from unethical experiments and abuse. The organization's work was recognized with numerous awards, and Max became a respected figure in the field of human rights. Despite the accolades and achievements, Max remained humble, always remembering the family and the love that had given him the strength to persevere. He knew that his journey was far from over, but with Jake and Mia by his side, he felt ready to face whatever challenges lay ahead. A warm summer evening, as they sat on the porch watching the stars, Jake turned to Max and Mia, his voice filled with gratitude. "We've come a long way, haven't we?" Mia nodded, her eyes sparkling with tears of happiness. "Yes, we have. And we've done it together." Max smiled, feeling a deep sense of contentment. "We've made a difference, and will keep making a difference. Together." As they sat there, hand in hand, they knew that their love and resilience had carried them through the darkest of times and had given them the strength to build a brighter future. Their story was one of hope, courage, and the unbreakable bond of family, a story that would inspire generations to come. And so, the story of Jake, Mia, and Max came to a heartfelt close, their journey a testament to the power of love and the enduring strength of the human spirit. Together, they had turned their pain into purpose, leaving a legacy of hope and compassion that would shine brightly for years to come. Would you like to explore any other aspects of the story or dive into new adventures? I'm here to help.